For if you believed Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote about me.
Moses had directive. He had foresight and knowledge of God's plan to save the world from the curse of death. He knew, understood, and expected the coming of Messiah. God is described as setting the stage with the origin story of creation in Genesis chapter 1. Where God creates the universe, the world and all that occupies it, everything is ready and the curtain is pulled back for the story which is about to be told. In Genesis chapter 2, Moses introduces us to the conscious observers of reality. Adam is created and Eve shortly thereafter. There are few rules that govern their lives, and they are warned that if they eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, then death will become a part of their lives, transforming them from incorruptible, immortal beings into mere mortals, being acquainted with suffering and grief. The serpent represents deception, suffering, regret, and shame, all encapsulated in death. In Genesis 3 verse 15, God promises to the serpent that there will be victory over death by the seed of the woman.
And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel.
This is described as the Protoevangelion, the gospel before Jesus, the promise of a future Messiah. One of the prerequisitial functions of a promise is that it be fulfilled in a set time. By making a promise, an expectation is born, so a set time was to be determined for its fulfillment. It is not unreasonable to wonder when the promise will be fulfilled. A promise anticipated without a deadline is simply the promise of your future anxiety, frustration, suspense, maybe even accusation and contempt. A reasonable maker of promises should therefore define the moment of action wherein he will pay his oath unto his oath's administrator. This specific oath is sworn unto the serpent, an oath of retributive justice. Death shall be conquered. An expectation of hope is created.
And Elohim said to Moses, I will be who I will be. And he said, Thus you shall say to the sons of Israel, I will be has sent me to you.
Literal translation from the Hebrew of the Samaritan Pentateuch. In the 1987 film, The Princess Bride, Inigo Montoya famously states,
So the next time we meet, I will not fail. I will go up to the six-fingered man and say, Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Inigo Montoya has been training in the art of fencing since he was 11 years old. He's committed to finding his father's murderer and challenging him to a duel, settling the score with a formidable lifetime foe. In similar fashion, the jaws of death await, undefeated for all men. One after the other, they all succumb to its power. It is this enemy of mankind that God has challenged to a duel. Shortly after its power was established, and Moses captures the challenge in the oath, where God swears that he will be the one who defeats the snake and its stranglehold on humanity. Jesus is astonished that even the learned men of Israel are blind to the vision of Moses and the purpose of Messiah.
Nicodemus answered and said to him, How can these things be? Jesus answered and said to him, Are you the teacher of Israel and do not know these things? Most assuredly, I say to you, we speak what we know and testify what we have seen, and you do not receive our witness. If I have told you earthly things and you do not believe, how will you believe if I tell you heavenly things? No one has ascended to heaven but he who came down from heaven, that is, the Son of Man who is in heaven. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God.
Man is cursed to suffer under the power of the serpent. A solemn oath is sworn to break the curse, but no deadline of when this curse will be expunged is given. We are left in anxious anticipation of this revelation. We can spoil the ending of this drama by skipping ahead 4,000 years to Christ and be done with it, like most of us do. Or we can calm ourselves and let Moses show us the mystery in God's prescribed manner so that we too can anticipate the coming of Messiah in similar manner as did the wise men from the East. They knew the time and season of God's salvation plan in no uncertain terms. If we can declare this mystery like they did, then no unrepentant Jew or Gentile can deny this revelation. For if you believed Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote about me.